I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. I actually went into the system at 6 years old due to my parents' mom being on drugs, also experiencing mental health disabilities, my dad being a gambler and not being there. I didn't know anything about foster care before I went into foster care. The only thing that I remember is the day that I was taken to the courthouse, and that was the day that my mom got her rights terminated. I just knew that it was strange when the judge said, "You didn't get yourself together, this is why we have to take Faron away." And then I literally remember her saying, "You will not be able to see him until he's 18 years of age." As a 6-year-old, it's kind of hard to hear that. After that, I went into foster care. The parents that I went to, very old school, yes ma'am, no ma'am. They taught me how to iron, taught me what school is about, how to interact with different peers. It's hard when you go into any situation with the unknown. They're not your birth parents. They are just people that the state selects for you to go to. You don't know their living environment, their background, their rules, so you go into it blindly. The reason why I left that home is because there was an incident that the hamster happened to get out of the cage. They blamed it on me. I know that the bruises and the scratches reflected how angry she was. She kept me out of school for a week, and when I got back, I still had cuts and bruises on me. And then that's when an investigation happened, and I was removed from that home. I pretty much moved to another home, and it was pretty much transition after that. It just kept going from one place to the next. You start to live by a new person's rules. At 9 years old, I went to a place called the Delaney House, and it's really just an emergency shelter for youth. So I was what you would call lost. You become this child that it's just, you're a part of the system and you don't know why you're having to transition from one thing to the next. After leaving the Delaney House, I went to this guy. He actually was in college to become a deacon. In this home, he was welcoming at first. He took care of me in a way that I did feel respected and loved as a child. But then one day it turned to something totally different. I was going to sleep that night and he said, "Oh, you're not going in your room today, you're going to sleep with me." Of course, as a 9-year-old, you don't understand what that is. He just became abusive. A lot of physical abuse, a lot of sexual abuse. Even though he was abusing me and he was a part of God and faith and all these things, I didn't let my faith be that type of faith. I didn't want to grow up to know that this is how God wants people to act towards me. For 3 years I went through, I can say, pure hell. After leaving his place, I went back to the Delaney House, but this time I was broken. I was this hurt young guy who now I had a trust issue with men. And I said to her, I said, "I want to be out of care because I'm tired of being in care." But saying that, I didn't know what that meant. And I asked for a Greyhound ticket to Philadelphia. And I remember meeting my mom at the Greyhound station. This was the first time that I seen my biological mother since I was 6. It didn't go as well as it should have been. The book is going to reflect how faith, how generational curses, and how trauma all ties into helping a person if they use the skills that they were taught by the places that they went. If you're able to decipher what's good for you for your development and what you can leave behind, that's important. All of the things that happened never affected the core of me. They just stuck on the layers. They never got within And that's kind of what I use to be resilient.